Hi, everybody. We're excited to be here with you today. My name is Rachel Normansell.
Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Pierce with Story.
Super excited to learn a little bit more about our new partner story and share some more information with you guys about how Yodel and Story can really work together to provide a really wonderful experience for your visitors and your community. Story has a lot of really cool things going on that we want you to know about. So, we're going to take some time to learn a little bit from Kyle on how you might be able to benefit from all of their great products and services. So, Kyle, for those of who might not be familiar, can you give us a quick overview of what Story is and the types of organizations that you typically work with?
So Story has been in business for going on 20 years. We'll hit our 20-year anniversary this fall, and we're a world-class digital solutions platform for destinations with stories to share, connecting people, places, and stories together. The platform is designed to help visitors engage deeper, explore further, and discover more through the power of technology. Or more practically, Story lets you turn tours, walks, and audio guides into feature-rich, custom-branded mobile apps and web app stories, all built through our simple browser-based tool that doesn't require any coding experience at all.
Sounds super easy. So, are you working with like a lot of visitors bureaus? I know, actually, oddly enough, Kyle and I will both be attending the Main Street conference in Tulsa in a few weeks. So, I think you work with a lot of Main Street organizations too, right?
Yeah, a lot of main streets,
Mm.
DMOs, counties, cities, towns, really serving the tourism industry, culture, heritage sectors. And we cover over 1,500 different locations.
Wow.
So got our start in transitioning audio guides at museums, but we've seen that application spread out across all these different sectors and industries, including museums, parks, tour operators, even hotels and universities. So essentially, if your organization has a physical place or story to tell, then story can be a good fit for you.
Cool. I love that. So at Yodel, we focus a lot on helping people discover things to do in their area. How do you think about the role story plays once someone actually arrives on site? So, say they're visiting Tulsa in a couple weeks. How does story come into play for me when I arrive in Tulsa here in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, great question. So that's where story really shines is once you get on site and once a visitor arrives, we can then send them either location-based notifications or GPS alerts and allow them to follow a self-guided tour using our platform and technology built into their own cell phone or mobile device. And they can either be triggered by GPS alerts or follow along with the self-guided route. And so it's great for tours covering a wide area or a small inside area and can trigger those specific either audio guides, images, immersive AR, or even AI powered characters. And so when they approach that point of interest or that stop on that tour, they can really dive deeply into that story that's there to be showed or told. And on top of that, visitors can really dive as deep as they need to with the content that you have. So if it's historical images, oral histories, making it accessible. So anybody with a learning disability or physical disability, making it so that they can get that same experience as anybody else taking that tour or looking to learn the information and stories that you have to share.
That's really cool. So I could, as someone purchasing this tool, can really have full control over whatever content shows up then.
Yeah, exactly. And we never take ownership of any content either. So it's really just a content management
Hmm,
system. And we're there to help you make the most of your content without, taking any rights or ownership at all.
that's really awesome. I personally would benefit from that kind of stuff because I love history and learning fun facts about areas when I go visit. So that's pretty cool. Awesome. So I'm curious what makes Story different from just building out maybe a traditional app or using static signage. Like I think of my own community, they just recently put up some wayfaring signs downtown, which is really cool. There is a community app. I don't really find it too useful, admittedly. I'm just curious, like, how would Story be different and more valuable for people?
Yeah, a lot of community apps, it's a duplicate of the website and it's
Hmm.
just kind of static information where we focus more on flexibility, content management, the speed of getting launched live, and then the ongoing value of being able to edit and make changes 24/7.
Okay.
And the those can be published immediately to users. So there's no downtime or app store updates, no waiting on a developer or reprinting signs. And unlike a custom built app, our platform is accessible to anybody who can navigate a web browser. So if you've
Okay.
done like a PowerPoint or worked with your WordPress before, you can use our story platform. So, any size organization, any experience level, our customer success managers are there to onboard and train and make it easy for you. And then, unlike that static signage with the wayfinding signs, you can really personalize that visitor experience and either recommending specific exhibits or points of interest or allowing them to favorite and find the things that are more specific to them or creating like themes that maybe fit specific interest or age groups. And so you're transforming that generic visit into more of a tailored experience without having to create a custom itinerary for them at all. And then again, our support team is available 24/7 to answer questions, help you make changes and updates, and you can see those go live right away.
That's really great that you guys are browser based and it sounds so easy because I think a lot of people, especially in the DMO space, maybe even in the Main Street chamber space, are really starting to dip their toes right now into web design, like AI, coding. I mean, it goes right over my head. I don't want to involve a web developer. So the fact that like I could just go in there and get it set up myself, that's super exciting to me because I don't want to have to try to figure out anything related to code.
Yeah,
That's
and I
very
know
cool.
AI is such a big keyword and hot topic right now that
It is.
we've done our kind of due diligence and researching and not jumping right in and expecting it to be able to build your app for you, but things are coming in our pipeline to make it easier. So you can rely on ChatGPT or Claude or whatever AI tool that you're using to actually pair with the builder in the platform too.
Nice.
And so we're staying on that cutting edge, but trying not to, dive too deep too quickly and have to backtrack it all for our clients or users.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's important. We also like to really meet people where they're at Yodel. So that's another reason why we enjoy working with you guys. Let's move to some real world use cases. I would love to hear how organizations using Story are really using this effectively right now.
Yeah. For our Main Street and DMOs or organizations that are more outside,
Mhm.
using geofencing or GPS alerts to be
Okay.
more like a geocache, so you can trigger hidden content or let people know when they're arriving near a location or having a hands-free experience for driving, biking, or just walking down the street and not having to be staring at your phone the whole time is
Nice.
huge. But then with the ability of augmented reality and AI characters and these other things that are coming out, we're really open source to be able to support any content that our clients are looking to share, whether that be multilingual audio tours or a gamified scavenger hunt that you're hiding items around town. It's all there to really increase engagement and at the end of the day, keep people there longer, where then research shows, engaged people are going to spend more, leave better reviews, and come back again to experience it. And one example that we have, I can share my screen and show a little highlight
Yeah.
potentially here, is the Finger Lakes Virtual Museum. Pull it up. And this launched here locally in Western New York, near where we're based in Rochester. And Ontario County is labeled as Visit Finger Lakes for their county.
Hmm.
And they had a grant to replace their historical markers around the whole county. And they labeled it and branded it as the Finger Lakes Virtual Museum. And so you can download it from each of the app stores, or the web version is available from your browser,
Oh,
any
neat.
browser from your phone or your desktop. And so they place all these markers around the county, and then they have augmented reality characters that you can place in your camera screen. And so they place QR codes attached to these markers. And when you're either driving by and you have the app downloaded, the GPS can trigger them and pop up that information. Or if I just happen to find the Susan B. Anthony stop here, then I can click in and I can hear her relive her speech that she gave on the courthouse steps and place her in my own camera view and hear that character relive or give that speech again.
That's super cool. Looks so easy to use. Love that.
Yeah, they're actually having a ribbon cutting ceremony. It launched last year, but then
Mhm.
winter and the signs all getting updated and in place. Winter here in Western New York took us over. So the ribbon cutting's in April 25th. And so it's really going to actually be available to the full public and really be marketed ongoing. But it's one of our kind of marquee examples or recent examples that's gone live that we're really proud of.
It is something to be proud of. So if I'm someone like that particular customer, how often do you recommend like making up content updates?
Yeah, so everybody's different. There's some examples or locations that you're really setting it and forgetting it with the stories
Hmm.
that you have to share, but they only did about 75 of their 110, I believe, historical markers that they have. So their
Okay.
plan is to continue to add on those rest of the markers. And they've already gotten a lot of requests from other businesses, even other counties outside of Ontario County that want to be involved. So they already have these expansion plans in place to add in more themes, more stops inside of those tours, and really
Neat.
take it outside of Ontario County and include the entire Finger Lakes region, which is will be awesome to see.
So how are people then like, because I think about even just last year when I was in Philadelphia for another conference, there were so many amazing historical buildings that I would have loved to learn more about. And some of them had like plaques on them, as you see commonly in older cities and communities. So how do people find out that this is a resource when they're traveling?
Yeah, so marketing is always a key piece of letting people know that it's out there.
Yeah.
All the different ways that people are finding items through either social media or websites, but finding a way now with how easy or how people are used to using QR codes. If
Yeah.
you can find a way to get that printed on material or have a plaque that is fit for that building and goes
Yeah.
along with the structure. That's where the Ontario County one really succeeded is they added it to the post of the historical markers. So they didn't add it to the actual marker and the signage itself, but it's an attachment to the post. And
Mm.
so it fits in with the theme and the branding. And we already see a lot of feedback on LinkedIn and social media of these businesses and locations that have these markers promoting it and getting a lot of love back from people who are like, that's a story that I didn't know about, or that's something I grew up right down the street from that, and I didn't know that that happened there. So it's
Yeah.
great feedback already to see. And every location's different or restrictive on how they can promote it. But we're here to kind of show those best practices, tips and tricks, or kind of use what other clients have been able to find a way to do it. We're here to help.
Nice. Love it. Well, I'm going to pull my screen back up. I think I've got a few more questions to ask you. I'm curious if someone's using Yodel right now, which I'm going to be sharing this with a lot of folks who I think could really benefit from this. How does Story extend the experience for folks that are already using Yodel, do you think?
Yeah. So, really kind of two halves to the story. Yodel really makes it easy to find what there is to do and a reason to visit. But then when you do get there on site, Story in our platform, you're able to layer in that on-site experience, whether through self-guided tours, walking, biking, driving, having that location-based content triggered, interactive maps, really sharing the oral history and storytelling, and then accessibility and kind of that gamified option that we mentioned earlier,
Hmm.
just really allows for that on-site experience to be easy from your device, where your website or some other tools, they're not really built necessarily for that experience. And um, it can really help make a seamless loop from Yodel driving that traffic and the decision to visit, where we can help deepen that experience once they're on site and hopefully lead them to staying there longer, spending some more money, and really being satisfied with their visit.
I love that. That's exactly what I always tell, specifically like our DMOs, but also Main Streets. It's like a lot of times, even your community members don't even realize all the things that are going on right in their backyard. So it behooves us to really give them all of the tools, all the cool information about everything going on within the place that they live, work, and play. I'm really curious, just a little bit of like thought leadership here. Like I know you go to a lot of conferences as well as I do. And from those recent experiences, what trends are you seeing right now in how destinations and main streets are using tech to engage visitors?
Yeah, great question. So, personally, and just observing, I think discovering like local areas and supporting local businesses is really what most people are out to do these days. And
Yeah.
instead of supporting, big box stores or those conglomerates. And so finding a way to showcase what your local community has to offer is a huge goal for local communities and a lot of clients that we're working with. And so finding a way to make them a lot easier to get into the digital game or have a mobile option for people. It can be that connective solution between people and place. And so really not able to, one size fits all doesn't really work necessarily anymore when you're advertising and telling people to come to your location. Everybody's kind of different and they have their own different personalities and their own interests. And so getting them an option that they can self-guide themselves, they can pick and choose where they want to go, at what time they want to go, makes that a lot easier and really fosters a sense of connection with people and connecting those stories and history that you have with what's happening in current day. And then kind of creating games or having the ability to earn badges or trophies, and then really augmented reality is becoming easier and easier to use. So taking somebody back in time or bringing a historical character to life in front of them, it's becoming easier and easier and more cost effective these days. So that trend that kind of started a few years ago now is actually hitting like that bell curve where more locations are able to take advantage of it. And then really accessibility, I would say, is like another key point of that and making sure if there's international visitors who are multilingual or people with disabilities, whether those be learning or physical disabilities, giving them the same opportunity to take the same tour, learn the same information, have the same experience as anybody else who's coming to take those tours, and just really having the ability to share those stories that you have to tell. I find a lot more main streets and DMOs, they're treating their communities more like living museums these days and realizing that there are all these historical events that happened or something that you didn't know took place in your town. The virtual museum done by the Finger Lakes Visitors Connection that I showed earlier, they have a historical marker where the first reported death from a bee sting happened in that county. And it just wows me every time that I hear that or see it. Like that only happened 20 minutes away from where I am today, but I never would have known that without having done that project with them and seeing that historical marker, let alone all the other stories that they have with their other 75 markers across the county. It's just so much information happened that, you know, the local community members, if you grew up there, you just may not know those historical facts. And then if you've moved to that area more recently, it really gives you a sense of belonging and connection with that area.
Oh yeah, definitely. That is so much like how I like to travel. Like the stories I tell when I return from a trip are always like, did you know that Santa Fe was known for this and like turquoise was being mined from this area that I was hiking in, and it's just little things like that I just think are so interesting. So I
Yeah, yeah. I was at a
absolutely see that as
conference.
being a future thing that more people need to be tapped into.
For sure. Yeah, I was at a conference in Daytona Beach last month, and when you walk out on the boardwalk, there's little plaques on the boardwalk that talk about the original like Daytona 500 and how they raced right there on the beach and like stories about each year's races. And you can kind of visualize it yourself, but having an ability to pair just images and maybe some audio with that could really bring it to life and make it more engaging and give that connection to people, let alone how many people go there for the NASCAR races each year. All the other people who are going there throughout the year, they're seeing those plaques, they're stopping and reading them, and it's just a really good chance for people to make that connectivity and then for people to go back and tell those stories to their friends and relatives.
Yeah, it's huge. Very cool. Well, I have one last question for you. Um, I believe it's the last question. You know what? It might not be. I don't know what's going on here. I wonder why we went back in time here. Sorry about that. Okay, this is definitely the last question I had for you. I'm curious if someone is listening right now is thinking about improving their visitor experience, what's the one thing you'd recommend they start doing today?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's different for everybody on where they should start or where they're at in their journey. But I think really kind of auditing the gap between before the visit and during the visit. And most organizations really are investing heavily in driving awareness and marketing their destination, which is very important. And we need to continue doing that and making it accessible on what's going on. But the on-site experience is still pretty largely left to printed maps or static signage. And so visitors who feel engaged, again, stay longer, spend more, leave better reviews, recommend the destination to others. And so we can take that barrier and make it easier to get over, or that initial hurdle where a few years ago it was more time consuming, a bigger resource drain, or more not as cost effective as it is today. But if you have that content ready to share in those stories, then if you can use a web browser, you could use our story builder and then not have to have that huge big budget to go to a development team or have your website company create an app for you from that information. And so just really, starting with a small idea, whether it's just one tour or one small area of your town where there's a lot of history or one district, whatever it might be, we can help get that live, see how visitors respond, build from there. And then the technology should really follow your story and help make your destination better, not necessarily rely on the technology to create your story. You know, you guys are the experts in your information, in your local community. So finding a right partner that fits into that and is helpful rather than necessarily directing or forcing you into a an area where necessarily your community might not fit.
Yeah, I love it. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to answer my questions today. I learned a lot myself. I'm curious, where can people go to learn more about Story or get in touch with your team? Is this all the right information here?
Yeah, yeah. Our website has
Great.
great examples, talks more about our products, whether or not you're looking to sell your tours and have them hidden behind either an access code or an in-app purchase to actually pay to take a tour, or the majority of our locations, it's a free access and really just helping that experience be heightened or take it to another level so that they're excited to be a resident of your community, or if they're visiting, hopefully, they can spread the good word that you have a lot of great things to share and to come back again in the future.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for your time, Kyle. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Rachel. It's been great.
Awesome. Okay, this is where we can cut. Maybe you should share your screen. I've just realized like if I'm sharing my screen and you're asking me the questions, it might be weird. Do you have it? Can you pull it up in
Yeah, yeah, I have it
presentation
right here.
mode? And I might end up sharing my screen to show an example of what someone's doing. Um,
Okay. And I'll just cut my share out when that happens.
okay, cool. Okay, I have my eye on the clock because I do have a hard stop at 4 too.
Okay. That's sharing the screen over here now.
You might want to go into presentation mode
Oh yeah.
on the Canva.
Oh yeah, and that's where you got backwards. I see now. Gotcha.
Cool. Okay, can start whenever you want.
I was so much more prepared for the answering the questions and asking the questions.
You're fine.
Gotta
Yeah,
reset my mind.
I know, we're like, I gotta like reset my brain as well whenever you're ready.
All right. Hi everyone. I'm Kyle Pierce with Story here to talk about Story and Yodel's partnership.
Hi, everyone. Rachel Norman Sell with Yodel Event Calendar. Super excited to chat with you guys today.
Thanks, Rachel. I'm excited to learn more about Yodel and show off to our clients what our relationship looks like and how we could work together.
Awesome.
So, can you give us a quick overview of what Yodel does and who it's built for?
Yeah. Yodel is built for anyone who is currently aggregating events on their website. We work with a ton of folks from communities all across the United States. We are in over 1,200 communities, and we work with local DMOs and CVBs, chambers of commerce, Main Street organizations, hotels, universities, and local publishers. Really, anyone who is aggregating events on their website. That process, if you have ever had to do it before, is extremely time consuming. Our customers have reported that before they started using Yodel, they were spending anywhere between 350 and 500 hours per year aggregating events on their event calendar. One of the problems that community organizations and leaders run into is that it's so disjointed in the digital space where events are being posted. You're going to see events on a plethora of sources, obviously, big ones like Ticketmaster, Eventbrite, and Facebook. But we really like to highlight the hyper local events that are happening, and a lot of those do go missing. on a lot of these aggregated event calendars out there. And that's really what how Yodel can set these guys apart because we can pull roughly 90% of events in a community automatically. While we can connect to those big sources like Ticketmaster, Eventbrite, and Facebook, we can also pull in sources from hyperlocal websites. So think your local library, your live music venues or museums that are in your downtown areas. Those are typically event calendars that are being posted on the website itself. And Yodel's technology can pull in those events. And every 24 hours, we are updating all of the sources we have, which right now is, I think, close to 60,000 sources. We're updating those to see has anything new been added? Has any event canceled or been changed? And all of that data is dynamic on our customer sites. So our customers can use the data that Yodel pulls in, manipulate it however they want to display it on their website so that it's virtually an always updating AI powered event calendar that has the data they need. So many of our customers, we've got visitors bureaus that are very specific and they only want to show live music and family fun and activities that are going to drive heads and beds. We've got Main Street organizations who only want to show all of the local organizations that have events downtown. Whatever they want to show, they have full control. They're basically just telling Yodel what they want to show on their website.
That's awesome. Yeah, if anybody's ever tried to find something to do this weekend, it's so tough. So that's a awesome, awesome job that you guys are doing there.
Thanks. Yeah, it's very, very helpful.
So what problem would you say Yodel solves that your clients were struggling with before?
Well, definitely the time savings thing. I mean, just to have that time back to do more revenue generating activities, engaging your community, that is so important because data entry, if you've ever had to do it, it is mind-boggling. It just makes your head hurt. And there's so many other things that we can be doing to help make impactful decisions for our local communities and for our guests and tourists. So that's a big one. But the other thing that really is kind of an underlying value add of Yodel is the increase in website traffic. Event calendars are generally one of the number one things that people are looking at on a website, especially when you're talking about a visitors bureau or a Main Street organization. That is one of the top visited pages. And it behooves those organizations to have a lot of really good event data because people are looking for events in the same way that they might be online shopping. They are browsing for things. So we can help increase engagement time on local websites. We can increase views, and we do that in some other ways with our technology as well. Our widget has been designed to help with SEO and increasing organic traffic to your website.
That's great. Yeah, so many truths in what you just said, for sure. And next question, can you walk us through what the experience looks like for an end user or visitor?
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to show you an example of what it would look like if, say, I'm a visitor to an area and I'm going to a visitors bureau site to learn more about the area. So if you don't mind, I'm going to share my screen
Okay, I'll stop sharing so
and
you can share.
I can just replace that current screen here. So this is a partner of ours in the Royal Gorge region of Colorado. So, if you are visiting this area and you're looking for things to do, you might be looking to get involved and you want to plan some events for your family. So, you're going to head to the event calendar. The Royal Gorge region is using our widget on their website. So, the our customers can manipulate the look and feel of this widget, make sure it fits the branding needs of their site by changing colors, fonts, things of that nature. But as a visitor, I might want to plan out my trip. I'm coming this weekend, visiting some people for Easter, and there's a lot of Easter things happening. But I might want to be very specific. I'm looking for some music and entertainment. and I'd really like to do something outside. So every single event that we pull into Yodel, we are using AI to categorize it. So our customers don't need to do any of that. They can obviously manipulate things as they need to, but the visitor can choose what it is that they're interested in, select an event for more information, and we are always linking back to the original source in the event of a ticket sale or a registration involved, anything like that. So we pull in
Awesome.
every piece of information exactly as it is being shown by the organizer. We do not use AI to manipulate images or event details, but our customers can change it if they, don't like how something's being promoted. It's their website. They can change however, whatever they want. And they can feature events. So our customers can select which events they want to show at the top. And local visitors or community members can actually subscribe to the calendar to get weekly updates of things happening in their area. And it links right back to the website, which increases return visitors to your website as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's more from the front facing side of things. But would love to, if anyone's like interested in how the manipulation of this calendar works, I can walk through a really cool demo on how that would work on the back end.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll share your contact info at the
Yeah.
end and make sure everybody can get in touch because I'm sure people are already interested in how that works. So the next question that we have is how would a Yodel and Story partnership or connection actually work in practice?
So if you're already using Story, you are so tuned in to the unique, adventurous things that have happened in your community. And I think it's really cool how Story really harnesses that energy because every community has something very special about it. And that is something that I've seen working with communities all across the United States, big and small. One thing that every single community has in common is that there's something very special about it and something uniquely their own. And I think events really can help that community shine through because it's not always about the big festivals, right? Like it's not always about those big things that maybe are that drawing feature to bring someone to a community. You think of Kentucky is known for bourbon. And oftentimes that is the only thing that a lot of large destinations in Kentucky will focus on. But when I'm in a community, regardless of if bourbon brought me to Kentucky or not, I would love to know, is there a live bluegrass band happening at a local brewery? Is there a yoga class that I could take, on the Sunday morning before I have to get in my car and travel back home? I want to feel immersed in the community that I am traveling to or visiting. And that's why I think this that Yodel and Story work so uniquely or so uniquely paired because we both are so focused on really helping people become immersed in the culture and community in which they're visiting. And events do that, and historical markers and stories do the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, it's not the annual repeating big ticket item of the Kentucky Derby that brings everybody back necessarily, or when they all are coming to Kentucky for that, they want to see their bourbon spots too, but what little things happened outside of the track or really telling the history around what happened. It's so easy to overlook. And when you're living it day in and day out, you may not think that it's important for visitors to know those things, but as you and I know, and when we travel, it's the things that gets us going or gets us excited about the history in that area is knowing those little strange facts or what revolutionary person actually came and lived there and that county or that town is named after. Like you said, every small community has those stories to share and how can we make it more accessible to people?
I don't know what just happened.
Just like black, your just so your video cut out just for a second. So I think it's okay.
Okay.
So what types of story clients or use cases do you think are best fit for adding Yodel?
So in my mind, I'm pretty familiar with who you guys are using or who's using Story. Really, the best candidates for Yodel are any visitors bureau, DMO, Main Street organization, even municipalities and chambers, hotels are going to be a great fit. I know you work with a lot of museums, and it's not that I don't think museums could be a good fit. We just haven't seen any museums using Yodel yet because typically folks are using Yodel to show an aggregation of events, but you could use our calendar widget to display your own events for an extremely low cost. It's almost like just dollars per year to use it. So if you're a museum and you just want a little bit of a nicer looking calendar, you can absolutely use Yodel to do that. And there's some other benefits to that as well, because people can subscribe to your events through the calendar. And if you're a museum in a community that already uses Yodel, your events will be amplified in that sense as well. So really, Yodel can be used by anybody. And I'd love to talk to you more about your use case because at the end of the day, we want to be able to help you drive more engagement to your area, and we are going to be able to find a way to help you do that.
Awesome. Yeah, so many of our clients, whether they be museums or municipalities, the calendar is such a struggle for them. As you mentioned earlier, like that resource and time drain and
Totally.
data entry is such a headache and real problem that being able to automate that as much as possible and have a tool that they can rely on would be great for 100% of our clients, I would say.
Love that.
So if you were using Yodel, what kind of outcomes could you expect from signing up and getting a subscription?
Immediate outcomes, obviously time savings, but the second is more engagement in both your local activities, things going on, and your website itself. So most of our customers see anywhere between a 50% to 100% increase in site traffic within the first 3 months of using Yodel. So there's some really immediate benefits to getting this technology on your website. Um, Really, if you are looking to increase engagement in any sense of your community, Yodel is going to be a good fit for you.
Great, great. I'm already thinking that even we could use it to showcase the events that we go to be
Yeah,
honest.
totally.
So what does the onboarding process then look like for one of our clients who wants to get started with Yodel?
Yeah. My first recommendation would be to head to our website and fill out a sample request form. It's the first thing you're going to see when you head to our site. And you can actually get a sample calendar with events in your community. We'll customize it for you, kind of get an idea of what type of event criteria would you want to show. We can limit it down to zip codes or local organizations and get super granular, or we can get as wide as a 50-mile radius around the city of Philadelphia. It is, really opportunities are endless. So we can start with a sample. We can move into a free trial so you can really experience this tool, make sure you understand how it can work for you. And really, the time commitment to doing all of this is super low. We recommend spending maybe an hour or two learning the service, but kind of like as you mentioned, Kyle, with Story, it's very set it and forget it. Ultimately, we want you to be able to use this to benefit your organization so you have some time back in your day. But
That
implementation for Yodel can take anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks, just depends on the project size.
Sure, sure, of course. But that's excellent to know and how easy you guys can make it to test it out and see what it looks like for any of our clients to be able to really get a good feel for how it could be helpful.
Yeah.
And so what's one thing that you wish every one of our clients knew about Yodel before they decided whether or not it's right for them?
Don't let the idea of us using AI scare you. AI is definitely, as you mentioned earlier, Kyle, something that we can't escape right now. We keep hearing it. It is like a household name. And I think that there's still a lot of hesitation in turning something as curated as an event calendar over to an AI tool. But while we are using AI, this is still something that is 100% in the hands of our customers to have full control over. And this is a tool that can really help you discover things that you maybe didn't even know were happening in your own backyard. So often I will create a sample calendar for someone who's never heard of Yodel before. And one of the first comments they'll say is, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even know about that event happening on Friday night. I've lived in my community for 30 years. What do you mean this is happening this weekend?" And I think that's where AI can really uncover some pretty cool things going on. So, how would that then affect someone using Story? You learn about this event that's happening. Perhaps that event is something that is rooted in something historical or cultural about the community. And next thing you know, you're learning something new about your community that you can then recycle into content on social media. Um, Perhaps even go viral in some sense. It all connects. So use AI to your benefit. It doesn't mean it's going to take over what it is that you're doing so well. It's just only going to amplify what you're currently doing.
Yeah, and I know we haven't necessarily talked about it before, but assuming story could be like a source for Yodel potentially, like if they're listing events in their app or in their tours that they're not putting anywhere else for whatever reason, we could potentially like see that as a source to be able to an option to be able to pull those events into, and then vice versa. If somebody's taking the tour, that Yodel calendar can live right inside of the app. I mean, you don't have to link out to the website at all for them to really see everything that's going on or sign up for those alerts in the newsletter to be subscribed to that calendar without a bunch of extra clicks.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that.
And so I'm assuming this information's all right, your number,
Yeah.
email, and website to be able to reach out and contact and learn more about how Yodel can help all these organizations.
Yeah, and if you're a story user, reach out to me directly. I can help get you 15% off our subscription fee. We really want to make this as easy and seamless as possible for anyone already using the story platform. And visit our website. You can get a sample calendar delivered directly to you. So you can just get a sense of whether or not this could be useful for you.
That's excellent. I'm excited about seeing more of our common clients,
Yeah,
cross-referencing each other and using both platforms together because I definitely see that Venn diagram, the overlap.
totally.
Where as much as we're doing two different software things, there's such a relationship there between driving people to events and then getting them to stay there longer or seeing what else there is to do in that community.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate your time, Kyle. Thank you.
Of course. Thanks, Rachel.